You're listening to Short History Shorts audio, where history speaks louder than images. In the age before Rome, before global maps, and before the great exploratory fleets of the Renaissance, there was Himilco, a Carthaginian mariner whose name has been nearly swallowed by time. Yet his voyage, shrouded in both myth and sparse references, represents one of the boldest maritime adventures of the ancient world. Himilco, sailing from Carthage in the late 6th or early 5th century BC, is believed to have led an expedition into the dark, storm-swept Atlantic. Not south toward the African coast like Himilco the Navigator, but north, into the cold and little-known waters off the Iberian Peninsula, past the Pillars of Hercules, and possibly into the English Channel and beyond. Why would Carthage risk such a journey? The answer lies in trade. Carthage, as a maritime power born from Phoenician roots, understood the strategic value of monopolizing resources. Tin, in particular, was in high demand for the production of bronze. The rich tin mines of northwestern Iberia and possibly southern Britain were known to be sources of this vital metal. Controlling access to these distant markets would grant Carthage a powerful economic edge in the Mediterranean. But navigating the Atlantic wasn't simple. Unlike the predictable, wine-friendly Mediterranean, the Atlantic presented treacherous currents, unpredictable weather, and no Punic ports for safe harbor. According to the Roman writer Pliny the Elder and the poet Avienus, who preserved fragments of earlier accounts, Himilco's voyage was long, slow, and filled with hardship. He allegedly described the sea as filled with seaweed fog and terrifying creatures. Some modern scholars interpret this as either deliberate exaggeration to deter Greek rivals or confused observations of the Sargasso Sea and the Atlantics. Drifting kelp beds. If Himilco reached the British Isles or even Armorica, modern Brittany, he may have encountered coastal Celtic tribes trading in tin and other metals, creating the earliest Punic-Celtic links. He also may have visited islands like Ushant or navigated dangerous stretches off the Bay of Biscay. Whether he mapped these routes or kept their exact locations secret is uncertain. But secrecy would have served Carthaginian interests. After all, the Carthaginians, like their Phoenician forebears, were masters of trade secrecy, avoiding detailed logs and leaving few written records. Instead, they relied on oral knowledge passed between trusted navigators and merchants. This would explain the lack of Carthaginian-authored texts about Himilco's expedition, and why Roman and Greek writers had to reconstruct his achievements secondhand. But even without a full account, the impact of Himilco's journey was profound. It marked one of the earliest known attempts to explore the northeastern Atlantic deliberately and for economic gain. While Greeks like Pytheas would later attempt similar journeys, Himilco's came first, driven not by scientific curiosity but commercial ambition. He demonstrated that the Carthaginians, far from being limited to Mediterranean lanes, were capable of bold, open-ocean exploration. His voyage also fits into a broader pattern of Carthaginian maritime expansion in the 6th and 5th centuries BC. While Hanno explored south toward the Gulf of Guinea, Himilco's push north balanced the reach of Punic influence and protected supply chains for vital commodities like tin, amber, and even furs. Some historians speculate that Himilco's voyage may have helped establish trade intermediaries or secret rendezvous points where Celtic and Punic merchants met offshore, a plausible explanation for the mysterious presence of Punic goods in Iron Age Atlantic Europe. Others argue that the voyage was more symbolic, a demonstration of naval supremacy meant to discourage rival Greek interest in the Western trade networks. In either case, it underscored Carthage's maritime capability and determination to dominate long-distance commerce. Of course, much of Himilco's story is lost in silence. No Carthaginian ship logs or first-hand descriptions survive. We depend on the Roman lens, writers who may have distorted or downplayed Punic achievements, or who copied sources already centuries old. Yet the name Himilco endured, passed down through generations of sailors, scholars, and poets, always connected to the idea of venturing beyond the known world. His tale reminds us that Carthaginian history isn't just about warfare, Hannibal, or Rome. It's about explorers who pushed boundaries, navigators who read the stars and braved the open sea in search of profit and prestige. Himilco's journey was one of the first known to challenge the Atlantic's wild expanse, a feat that wouldn't be rivaled again for over 1,000 years. In honoring Himilco, we recover a glimpse of a Punic world driven by more than power, a world of knowledge, daring, and quiet mastery of